What's up, everyone? It's Trace Face. Sunday evening here, and I just got I just got done watching this pretty awesome YouTube video from R.C. Blake's, and I would recommend that all of you check this video out. It is an eye opener for those of us that are coming out of these toxic relationships and understanding the part that we played in it. Really insightful stuff. He just sums it up in a way that I don't think I could ever. He has another video out there. He's a pastor. I believe he's a pastor, R.C. Blake's, yes. And his father was a pastor. I love him. He's one of my all-time favorites, and you should check out his YouTube channel. He also has another video out there about narcissism. He mentions narcissists in this toxic, video that I just watched that came out yesterday. He does mention narcissists. And anyhow, I would recommend that all of you check this video out because, again, it just kind of gives you some insight as to what's going on with us and how any of this even happened from the get-go and how it continues happening in our lives. And so it's a way for us to do this kind of internal search in figuring out that, yes, we have a part to play in this. It isn't all the narcissists, and that's a hard thing to grasp and to grip. But what he does say, which I really enjoyed and took away a lot from, is that, a lot of times, most times actually, toxic people are attracted to us not because we're toxic. It's the opposite way. He says is the exact opposite. They're attracted to us because we're not, and because we have all these qualities that they're thirsting for, that they are sniffing in the air, they're sniffing you out. Like I said, they're like sharks in the water and they can tell. So it's being aware, and it's that magical word that, I discovered many years ago that I was lacking, and that is boundaries. And so having these healthy, very strong set boundaries in place of what it is that, where your line is drawn and sticking to it. Is huge. And so along with all of this, I believe comes this place that we all get to where we literally, after coming out of these very toxic relationships, abusive, narcissistic relationships, we are asking us that very question that happens. Who are we? And I have found myself asking myself that all week, because there's so many emotions that you're still trying to deal with. And a lot of us lost ourselves, and we lost our spark. We lost our motivation. We lost our interests. We picked up some really bad habits in trying to cope, these coping mechanisms we were doing, a lot of us in these abusive relationships. And through all of that and through all the time, I found myself really this week asking, like, who am I? Who is Tracy? And I've been having a lot of dreams associated with that, and I'm trying to deal, and I guess that's natural, and that's a part of this process, is just trying to figure that out, and figuring out the kind of people that, again, we want to hang around with right now, and that we probably shouldn't, because we have to be very careful, coming out of these horrific situations, because we could get right back into another one because it feels all too familiar. And that familiarity is where we get stuck and where we get lost, because sometimes normal things don't feel right to us. I found myself feeling that way last night. It's trying to figure out what we can and can't handle right now. And I personally think that the more time we spend in ourselves at this point, as many of you that don't know, I just got out of a 7-year relationship, 6-year marriage. It was 7 years together, 6 years married to a spiritually infected, diabolical narcissist. And before him, it was one right before him, and it was somebody right before that. It was back to back for me. And I'm doing the inner work and understanding how that happened. There are a lot of things to consider, but in retrospect, I think a lot of it was I wasn't educated on what the heck was really happening here, but I knew innately something was seriously wrong. Like I did feel as though it was something bigger than I could see, than the eye could see. And I remember feeling that way with the first narcissist I was ever with, when I was 22. I can remember one time sitting with him, and we were having coffee, and he lives in Boston, and like an idiot, he didn't have a car, and I'd always drive out there to see him, the one-way relationship. He always had this way, though, of just making me do these things. This is like, I take part in it. I was stupid. I was young. He was very manipulative. And, coming to find out that he had all these other women he was doing the same thing to, I was in shock, because I thought we had something so special and so unique and so, passionate, and you feel like you're the only one, and you feel like this thing is happening between the two of you. And then to come to find out that, like, he had a string of like 10 other women he was doing the same thing to, it was like, I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. And we still had this back and forth thing that went on for years. As I would try to move on and he would try to move on, he always like gripped me and pulled me back into his vortex. And I can remember the one time sitting there looking at him, drinking his coffee, and I literally, it was like his face transformed right in front of me, and it's like, and he was getting older, and I just remember being like, his face is like turning into like what you would imagine Satan looks like this evil form, his cheekbones and his beady eyes, and his and he had this smirk, he had on the side of his face, and I just remember looking at him going, Satan, is that you? Is that really you? And it's interesting, over the weekend, actually on Friday, I needed to take a day out of work. I'm really struggling. That's the last part of my life that I'm trying to figure out right now, in dealing with very toxic and narcissistic people in the work environment. And I'm trying to figure out how I need to handle this, because it's the last part of my life I have to get a grip on. And it's either that I have to learn how to deal with these people in the workplace, and knowing all that I know. But it's hard, because it's the same thing being in a relationship with one of them. You're trying really hard to tolerate things that you shouldn't have to. And when the timing is right, I will definitely tell some stories about narcissism in the workplace, because I am living it as we speak. I've been through it before, and it can really wreak havoc in your life, and again, change who you are. It takes up all your energy. You come home exhausted. So all these things I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to handle. There's a part of me that really just wants to, like, even take a year out from social services, human services, and do something completely different, just to give myself a break from these environments. But I'll get more into that when I can, and when the timing is right, to be able to talk about this stuff. However, I took a day out on Friday. I was coming down with a cold, and it was pretty bad. And I took the day, and I decided it was time. I have been avoiding it. I don't know why I've been holding on, but I went through, your phone is like a place where you're constantly in it, right? All day long for phone calls, work, whatever. You want to take pictures, you want to do this, you want to do that. And I've realized that, I have 2 years worth of pictures with my, soon to be ex-husband, and I've got videos on there, and I've got voicemails I still had on there from him. And I was like, I have to get rid of this. I have to delete the text messages that probably go on for, well, since the last time I upgraded my phone. But so I did it. I did it, and I went through, it was like, it took hours in the morning, and I went through, and I actually forced myself to like watch some of these videos. Like I had a video of him that I caught him like cheating, and I tried to get it on video, and I tried to get his reaction to it, just to show myself like what liars look like when they get caught. And it's amazing. Like I have so many tips just by watching it again, but it was so hard to watch. It was so hard to see somebody that's supposed to be your partner, that you go to sleep with every night, you brush your teeth next to, you do all these things with, and they're leading a double life. And it's just really hard. I forced myself to delete all of it. And, because it's part of the healing process, it's part of moving on. And, I did find one video because I realized this year I've gone through loss. It's been loss after loss. I lost my grandmother, who was pretty much my mom growing up. I lost her in June of 2017. I lost my father-in-law, my soon-to-be ex-husband's father, in December. And now I've lost my husband. So it's loss. It's still mourning. For the narcissistic relationship, we all know it's mourning what never was. You're mourning, you're basically mourning years that were taken away from you is what you're mourning. Years that you'll never be able to get back. That's what hurts the most. But I did it. I went through it all. I think the next step for me now is to make a clean slate, especially when I decide what I'm going to do here for work. I'm going to be able, getting a new number will be great. So I can really not worry about any of these toxic people bothering me in the future. Bye. Goodbye. Leave me be, let me alone. It is necessary. So that's where I'm at right now in my journey to healing. I think about all of you daily. I think about the things that I'm learning and that I want to share, and that if there's any videos I'm coming across, I will put them in the drop-down menu here so that you can get your hands on them and watch them as well, because if it's helping me, I know it's going to help you too. I hope that all of you are having a really great weekend, and that I hope that most of you do enjoy, the unfortunate thing is I love the work that I do. I love it with all my heart. It's the people that, and it can take one person in the workplace, as you know, to just ruin everything for you, especially if it's management, if it's within management and you have to directly report to them. It's really difficult, and it can make your life absolutely miserable. So, I have a show finally coming up here, and something also I want to share something also that happened for me. I'm working on something big for myself, in my creative side of things that I've kind of put to the back burner all these years, and I realized that God gave me all these talents and I haven't been using them to my full ability, and it's time now, it's do or die. That's it. I have to fight. I have to fight to get that back, to get me back, to get my identity back, all that. It's a fight. Every day we have to fight for this. So I had this vision, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew the people I needed to get involved with this, and it's something I'm going to start working on I have been working on, and it's going to take probably a year before the project is finished. But I found a major key player that's going to be a part of this with me in getting this to where I want it to be. And I just kept I kept like pounding my head in the pavement thinking like, who do I know that does this, that, that could be a part of it. And thankfully, through my brother's movie, I've met a lot of really awesome people that are involved in the arts, that are involved in acting and dance and everything. So we connected, and I told him what I want to do, and he's down. He's going to be a part of this, and he has a studio, and it's just going to be great. It was something that I've been like trying to figure out for a little while now, and it just happened over the weekend. So I'm really excited. And it's those little things that, will get us through the day and give us the focus. We need to refocus. So it's giving me a new focus. So this video is pretty long. I'm sorry, I'm babbling. I hope that, again, you guys are all having a very peaceful evening. And I look forward to talking with you. Please share any experiences, comment for me, give me the thumbs up, share the video. This is the only way we're going to get this information out to the masses to stop narcissistic abuse from occurring, and to keep people safe from this horrible life that somebody could potentially go down. I am Trace Face. It's time we all face the truth together.